You see the way they play, say they'll be a part of change, I think they lie.
Megan Meisters is a musician by the name ISKWE. She's a registered citizen of the Manitoba Métis Federation, born and raised in Winnipeg, under the care of her maternal grandfather, who passed down his knowledge of Métis culture.
I witnessed him feel or express pride in his culture and then also shame. I saw both of those sides of him, right? And that sat with me more than anything, because I could see the hurt that he had experienced and the pride that he felt seeing me be proud. It was something that actually was a generational change, right? Because between my grandfather's generation and my mother's generation, there wasn't as much connection for my mom.
We ask Megan where she stands with the Indigenous music community currently.
Definitely in a different place than it was a few years ago. It has changed quite drastically in the last couple of years since I was accused of lying about being Indigenous. The majority of my career was spent within the Indigenous music community specifically. And the friendships that were built that have sustained the test of time are family members.
For Megan, the lines between culture and identity have always been blurry.
Métis people are, known as prior to being a half-breed nation. And I think this is a really important piece, is that the bits of culture that came down that were specifically Métis when you're an urban kid aren't necessarily as obvious.
Music was a way to explore these lines and advocate for others like her grandfather and herself.
Having heard firsthand what he experienced and understanding very early on that my experiences were and were going to continue to be different, because I look like his kin, but I'm not the same shade of skin color. I've always been aware of this. And to me, it was important to utilize this in a way that could raise awareness, could give back to community. Despite criticism she's received, Megan encourages the dialogue. I'm tired of being uncomfortable about being a part of this conversation from that side. I'm not sitting here as a victim. I'm sitting here as, hey, this happened, but where can we go from here? We have our kinship ties. We have our lineage. We have all of these things that are passed down from generation, and that makes me a part of my community.
Megan wishes to see these discussions held in a safer way moving forward.
We can't be expected to know everything about each other. So why don't we find a way to, learn from a place of welcoming again, instead of, trying to just pluck people out far too easily? How do we mend things, inter-community, right? Because the thing is that I've been learning more and more is I know nothing.
Megan holds a valid Manitoba Métis Federation card, but she still faces backlash as Indigenous fraud claims resurface online. Throughout the ordeal, Megan's learned the importance of accountability when it comes to questions about community claims. She continues to share her story in hopes that others with complex and mixed identity aren't discouraged from building community connections in the future. Veronica Blackhawk, APTN National News.